The mystery of Jessica Zrinski. The mysterious disappearance of Jessica Zrinski remains one of the most unsettling and heartbreaking cases to emerge from New South Wales in recent years. Jessica, who was 30 years old at the time, vanished in late November of 2022 after a series of sightings that now form the last known record of her movements. Her final hours, captured through scattered CCTV footage and eyewitness observations, reveal a troubling sequence of events that investigators have worked tirelessly to piece together. Despite extensive searches, public appeals, and a significant reward, Jessica's location remains unknown, deepening the sorrow and uncertainty felt by her family and the wider community. Jessica was last seen on Monday, the 28th of November, 2022. That evening, she was in the car park of the Greenfield Tavern on Mimosa Road in Greenfield Park in Sydney's southwest. CCTV footage showed her wearing an orange singlet top, long black leggings, flat shoes, and carrying a cream handbag. In the footage, she eventually entered a blue Holden Commodore approximately 10 minutes after being seen outside. The man driving the vehicle has since been identified and interviewed by detectives. His car was seized and thoroughly examined, yet no evidence was uncovered. Despite this, authorities have stated that the man has not been helpful in the investigation. Later that night, at around 10:15 in the evening, additional footage captured the blue Commodore travelling through Horsley Park. Jessica could be seen sitting in the passenger seat at a petrol station, while the driver, dressed in a grey shirt, black pants and sneakers, filled the car with petrol before going inside to pay. He returned with 2 bottles of Coke before the two continued their journey west. This footage stands as one of the clearest glimpses of Jessica before her disappearance. The next confirmed sighting occurred the following morning, on Tuesday, the 29th of November, at approximately 9 in the morning. The blue Commodore was recorded at another petrol station in Mount Victoria, about an hour and a half west of Sydney. Jessica was again seen in the passenger seat. This would be the final confirmed footage of her. Police believe she was still alive at this point before vanishing without a trace sometime afterward. When Jessica's family could not reach her and were unable to locate her, they contacted police on Friday, the 3rd of December, prompting a full investigation. Strikeforce Kida was established to examine the circumstances surrounding her disappearance. Investigators quickly suspected that the Commodore had continued west along the M4 motorway and the Great Western Highway toward the Blue Mountains. Though the exact route remains unclear, evidence suggests Jessica was somewhere in the region during the hours before she disappeared. As part of their ongoing efforts, detectives have carried out extensive searches across remote bushland. In May of 2023, authorities conducted a 3-day search in the Hampton State Forest, roughly 115 kilometers west of Sydney. This operation, involving specialist units and volunteers, did not yield results. Later, investigators began another 3-day search in the Jenolan State Forest, approximately 13 kilometers north of the famous Jenolan Caves. These rugged wilderness areas are vast, difficult to navigate, and filled with steep terrain, making the search efforts both complicated and physically demanding. Throughout the investigation, police issued multiple appeals to the public for assistance and information. In November of 2023, authorities announced a reward of $500,000 for any information leading to answers regarding Jessica's disappearance. The hope was that such a significant reward might encourage someone with knowledge of her whereabouts to come forward. Jessica Zrinski is described as being of Caucasian appearance, approximately 165 centimeters tall, with a thin build and blonde hair. She has distinctive tattoos on her right index finger, her left wrist, and the back of her neck. These details remain vital to the case, serving as important identifying features as authorities continue to search for any sign of her. The unanswered questions surrounding Jessica's disappearance weigh heavily on those who knew her and on the investigators committed to finding the truth. Despite extensive searches, interviews, analysis of CCTV footage, and forensic examination of the car she was last seen in, her disappearance remains a troubling mystery. The mysterious disappearance of Karen Ann Spencer. Karen Ann Spencer's disappearance remains one of the most troubling and emotional mysteries to emerge from the late 1980s, a case that continues to haunt her family and investigators decades later. Born on the 17th of January, 1972, in Kenton, Kentucky, Karen grew up surrounded by a large and loving family. Her siblings remembered her as energetic and bright, someone who could illuminate any room she walked into. Her childhood, though marked by her parents' separation, remained anchored in love, especially after she moved to Miami Township, Ohio, to live with her father, Richard, and her devoted stepmother, Diane. Diane adored her deeply, referring to her lovingly as her girl, recalling her as spirited, stubborn, but filled with heart. Like many teenagers, Karen faced challenges while growing up. She experimented with alcohol at an early age, and her father, deeply concerned for her future and well-being, placed her in an alcohol treatment program. Karen, frustrated by the decision, left the program and moved in with her older brother Curtis and his wife Christy. Despite these struggles, Karen was moving forward in life. At 17, she was working as a waitress at Kings Mill Frisch's in Mason, Ohio, and working hard in her senior year at Reading High School. She looked toward the future with excitement, counting down the days to graduation and her 18th birthday. Curtis and Christy were planning to move to Florida, and Karen eagerly anticipated joining them to begin a new chapter. However, everything changed on the night of the 29th of December, 1989. What should have been an ordinary evening became the starting point of an unexplained disappearance. Karen and Christy were out together, leaving Richard at home caring for Christy's baby. Karen, carrying only $7 in her wallet, drove Christy's black Buick Regal. At approximately 3 a.m, while driving along the I-275, Christy revealed devastating news. Karen would no longer be moving to Florida with them. The revelation shattered Karen, who had built her hopes around this plan. An argument broke out between them as they traveled between the Montgomery Road and Ohio 28 exits. Overcome with frustration and heartbreak, Karen pulled the Buick onto the shoulder and got out, walking north along the interstate in the freezing winter night. Moments later, a red 1982 Datsun B310 pulled up. A young man stepped out and asked if they needed help. Christy told him to leave, and according to her, he drove away. Christy then got into the driver's seat, drove off, and traveled about 3 miles before she reconsidered and turned around to find Karen. But when she returned, Karen had vanished. Christy drove to Richard's home, distraught and sobbing, initially telling him that Karen was at the apartment. Richard sensed something was wrong and called the apartment, and when no one answered, Christy admitted what had happened. Richard immediately contacted authorities, launching a desperate search that would turn into a lasting nightmare for the Spencer family. Police responded quickly, searching both sides of the interstate, scouring miles of roadway, woods, brush, and embankments. Days passed with no sign of Karen. Helicopters joined the search, but nothing. No clothing, no belongings, no trace was found. Nationwide alerts were issued. Media outlets shared her photo. Her mother and stepfather distributed flyers in Kentucky. Still, no meaningful leads emerged. Investigators examined Christy's Buick and found 2 saucer-sized bloodstains on the front seat. Shockingly, they dismissed them, claiming that if violence had occurred, the pattern would resemble spatter, not blotches. Because of this reasoning, they did not test the blood. Before this oversight could be corrected, the vehicle was repossessed and sold, eliminating any chance of recovering evidence. One of the only significant leads came from a woman walking her dogs near the interstate who reported hearing a woman screaming around the same time Karen vanished. Police traced the red Datsun's owner, the same man who had approached Christy. His account contained inconsistencies. He seemed to know details about the argument between Karen and Christy, even though Christy insisted she never told him. He passed a polygraph test, but FBI specialists later stated they believed he manipulated it. He had allegedly cleaned his car twice that day, cancelled its insurance, and could not explain what happened to the vehicle. Without physical evidence, investigators could not proceed with charges. Additional reports trickled in over the years, including witnesses who claimed to have seen Karen walking along the interstate and a truck driver who thought he saw a body being buried near Lake Isabella. None of these leads resulted in answers. 12 years later, the family received a chilling voicemail from an anonymous caller who claimed to know where Karen's body could be found near Renfro Valley, Kentucky. The caller was quickly identified, a man who admitted it was a cruel prank inspired by seeing a news segment about Karen. He served 45 days in jail, but the emotional damage to the family was immeasurable. Detective Bill Paul later stated he knew without doubt who was responsible, claiming the suspect had revealed information only the person responsible could know. But with no physical evidence to support charges, the case remained frozen in legal standstill. Karen's family, still grieving, still searching, has expressed forgiveness toward the individual believed responsible, yet they continue to plead for closure. The mystery of Jerica Hamra. The disappearance of Jerica Hamra remains one of Nebraska's most troubling and heartbreaking mysteries, a case marked by fear, confusion, and deep sorrow for the family she left behind. Jerica, who was 30 years old when she vanished from Lincoln, Nebraska, had lived a life filled with both joy and hardship. She was the mother of 3 daughters, though her parents had custody due to Jerica's personal struggles. Despite this arrangement, she remained devoted to her children and attended scheduled visitations, keeping a strong bond with them. Her parents described her as fun-loving, someone who cherished spending time with her girls and whose personality could brighten even the darkest of days. Jerica had moved to Lincoln from Wilcox in Kearney County in April, just 2 months before she disappeared. Her father, Craig Hamra, explained that Jerica had spent the last decade battling difficult circumstances, making choices that often placed her in unsafe environments and around people who did not support her well-being. According to him, these choices eventually caught up with her in a painful way. Yet even through challenges, Jerica's family remained hopeful for her future, believing she was capable of change and deserving of a stable, loving life. Just days before she vanished, Jerica faced a frightening ordeal. On the 22nd of June, she was assaulted by a man and 2 women, people she had been living with. She sustained severe bruising on her face and suffered a broken nose. In a video conversation with her friend Becky Burnetz, Jerica expressed that her living situation had become unbearable and was not unfolding the way she expected. She reported the assault to police, but chose not to press charges, possibly out of fear or uncertainty about what might follow. Jerica was last seen at her home near 35th and Huntington on the 25th of June. She failed to appear at work that day, which was unusual for her. When she missed a scheduled visit with her daughters on the 29th of June, her family's concern escalated. Jerica, known to be active on social media, suddenly stopped posting altogether. The silence was alarming. Months later, on the 22nd of October, investigators conducted a search on a property in Overton, Nebraska, near the Platte River by River Lodge Outfitters. Data from Jerica's phone suggested she had last been in the general area of Arapahoe, Holdrege, Overton, or Lexington. Despite the extensive search, no evidence was recovered. Her disappearance is considered suspicious, and investigators have stated they do have a suspect. However, no public updates have confirmed whether this lead has brought them closer to answers. Jerica's family believes that she is most likely deceased, a realization that has brought immense grief. Yet they find comfort in seeing her spirit reflected in her children. They have received tremendous support from the Brigham Home Foundation, which has organized searches and stood beside the family during their darkest days. Though Jerica would now be 31 years old, her family continues to hope for clarity, longing for the day when they finally learn what happened to their beloved daughter. Man claims to have escaped from Alcatraz. The mystery surrounding the infamous Alcatraz escape has persisted for more than half a century, and while countless theories have circulated, none have captured public imagination quite like the astonishing letter received in 2013. The escape itself took place in June of 1962, when 3 inmates, John Anglin, Clarence Anglin, and Frank Morris, carried out one of the most daring prison breaks in American history. All 3 had been incarcerated for their involvement in a bank robbery, yet their legacy would be defined not by their crimes, but by their brilliant and elaborate escape plan that challenged the notion that Alcatraz was truly inescapable. Using sharpened spoons crafted into makeshift tools, the trio spent months quietly carving small tunnels out of the decaying concrete behind their cell walls. They created dummies with real hair to fool guards during nighttime headcounts, and, through determination and ingenuity, constructed a raft out of dozens of raincoats stitched and sealed together. On a cold June night, they squeezed through their hand-carved tunnels, climbed the plumbing system to the roof, and set off on the dark, churning waters of San Francisco Bay. The prison went into panic the next morning, but by then, the men were long gone. No trace of them, living or deceased, was ever found. Officials declared that the trio likely succumbed to the frigid water and strong currents, yet many insisted that the escapees could have survived the swim, as proven by modern endurance swimmers who complete the journey today. For decades, the debate remained unresolved, until the San Francisco police revealed that in 2013, the television station KPIX received a letter from an individual claiming to be John Anglin. In the letter, the writer stated plainly that he had escaped Alcatraz in June of 1962, adding that all 3 men survived the crossing, though he admitted they barely made it. He further claimed that Clarence Anglin passed away in 2008 and that Frank Morris passed away in 2005, suggesting that the 3 escapees went on to live long lives far beyond their time on the island. The letter then took a somber turn as the writer explained he was suffering from cancer and sought medical care. He asked authorities to announce publicly that he would serve no more than 1 year upon turning himself in, promising to reveal his exact location in return. The authenticity of the letter, however, remains a central part of the mystery. Handwriting comparisons between the letter and known samples from the inmates were determined to be inconclusive by the US Marshals. The police took 5 years before informing the public of the letter's existence, further fueling speculation. Some believed it was genuine, while others suggested it could have been written by someone with knowledge of the case who wished to provoke attention. Adding to the intrigue, relatives of the Anglin brothers claimed that for years after the escape, roses would mysteriously appear on family gravesites, accompanied by occasional signatures they believed came from John and Clarence. These small but poignant gestures contributed to the belief that the brothers had indeed survived and remained in quiet contact from afar. The letter, whether authentic or not, remains one of the most compelling pieces of potential evidence ever associated with the Alcatraz escape. If genuine, it would mean that one of America's most wanted men lived for decades under the radar, resurfacing only in a final plea for compassion. The mystery of the 300-million-year-old wheel found in a 900-meter-deep coal mine. In 2008, an unusual and thought-provoking discovery emerged from deep beneath the earth in a coal mine located in Donetsk, Ukraine. While excavating a tunnel approximately 900 meters below the surface, miners working on the J3 Sukhodolsky coal coking stratum encountered something that would leave many both intrigued and baffled: what appeared to be the imprint of a wheel embedded in the ceiling of the sandstone tunnel. The discovery, though not widely publicized at the time, gained attention when Mine Deputy Chief V.V. Kruzhelin photographed the peculiar formation and shared the images with Mine Foreman S. Kasatkin. This testimony, along with photographs and statements from other mine workers, forms the basis for what has become known as the alleged 300-million-year-old wheel. Due to the brittle and fragile nature of the surrounding sandstone, the imprint could not be removed from the mine without risking damage to it. As a result, the site remains unstudied directly by scientists, and all information available today rests solely on the photographs and first-hand accounts of those who witnessed it before the mine closed in 2009. According to geological assessments, the coal deposits in the Donetsk region are known to originate from the Carboniferous period, a geological era dating from approximately 360 to 300 million years ago. This period is long before the rise of humans or even the appearance of the dinosaurs. If the sandstone that contains the wheel imprint indeed dates to this period, it raises significant questions about the presence of an object that appears to resemble a crafted tool embedded in such ancient rock. In a written account, Mine Foreman S. Kasatkin elaborated on the situation surrounding the discovery. He explained that once the wheel-like imprint was spotted, the team of miners requested that scientists be brought in to examine the anomaly. However, the mine's director, allegedly acting under the direction of the mine's owner, dismissed this request and instead ordered the team to continue working through the area. As a result, the artifact and a second, smaller imprint discovered shortly afterward were lost beneath tunnel debris and were never recovered for further analysis. Kasatkin mentioned that several engineers and miners saw the imprint firsthand and that over a dozen individuals could verify its existence. Due to the mine's strict access limitations and hazardous conditions, gaining outside verification was extremely difficult. The crew even attempted to extract the imprint from the sandstone with handheld tools, but ultimately abandoned the effort for fear of damaging it, due to the rock's density and strength. Despite the limitations in physical access and the closure of the mine, the photographs remain the strongest evidence of the find. These images depict what appears to be a wheel-shaped outline embedded in the rock above the miners. Although it's not possible to confirm whether the object was ever an actual wheel or a naturally occurring shape that resembles one, the symmetry and detail suggest a design not commonly seen in random geological formations. Scientists have long debated such anomalies found in ancient rock. While the mainstream view holds that humans and human-made tools did not exist millions of years ago, discoveries like this continue to challenge the conventional narrative. The idea that a wheel or similar man-made object could have become fossilized in rock from the Carboniferous period introduces questions about either the accuracy of geological dating, unknown ancient civilizations, or some yet unexplained process. One theory proposed by some researchers suggests that the imprint may have resulted from a form of fossilization known as diagenesis, where organic or inorganic material slowly dissolves and leaves an impression in surrounding sediment that hardens over millions of years. If that process were at play here, then a physical object, whether artificial or not, would have had to exist at the time the sediment was laid down. That timeline, however, predates not only humanity, but any complex mammals. While critics argue that such anomalies are likely the result of misidentified objects, supporters of the discovery point to the striking resemblance of the imprint to a wheel as reason enough to warrant further investigation. If the account is genuine and the photographs are authentic, the Donetsk wheel may stand as one of the more mysterious findings within the realm of ancient anomalies. Its potential implications stretch across disciplines, from archaeology and geology to human history and the understanding of Earth's distant past. Whether it's an example of a misidentified natural formation or something far more significant remains uncertain. The closure of the mine and the inaccessibility of the original site make further study nearly impossible. With the area now flooded and the mining equipment removed, any future examination may depend on the authenticity and analysis of the photographs and eyewitness testimonies alone. In the end, the discovery poses more questions than it answers. Could it be that human history stretches back far further than currently believed? Might there have been civilizations lost to time, predating the known timeline of human development? Or is this simply a curious geological formation that closely resembles something familiar to us? Until further evidence emerges or the site becomes accessible again, the mystery of the Donetsk wheel remains one of the many unexplained phenomena that continue to intrigue researchers and spark debate. Like other ancient anomalies scattered throughout the world, it serves as a reminder that despite all the advancements in science and technology, there are still corners of Earth's history that remain hidden beneath layers of rock, time, and mystery. The fate of the Anasazi civilization is a mystery. The Anasazi civilization, also referred to as the ancient Pueblo people, once thrived in the rugged and arid landscapes of the American Southwest. Their presence was most prominent in the modern-day states of Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and Utah. These ancient people are best remembered for their remarkable architectural achievements, particularly the cliff dwellings carved into sandstone mesas, as well as for their artistic pottery, advanced farming systems, and complex societal structures. Despite their legacy of innovation and resilience, the sudden and unexplained disappearance of the Anasazi remains one of the most compelling mysteries in North American archaeology. The disappearance of the Anasazi, believed to have occurred around the end of the 13th century, has puzzled scholars for decades. Among the most widely accepted explanations is the impact of an extended drought. The region inhabited by the Anasazi was already known for its limited water resources, and tree ring data indicates that a significant drought lasting several decades may have severely disrupted their agricultural practices. The inability to grow sufficient food would have placed enormous strain on their communities, leading to food shortages, migrations, and ultimately the abandonment of once thriving settlements. In addition to environmental stress, there is evidence suggesting that social and political unrest may have contributed to the Anasazi's decline. Some archaeological sites show signs of defensive structures and hastily built walls, indicating that conflicts, either internal or with neighboring groups, could have played a role. Scattered remains at certain sites point to episodes of violence, possibly as a result of competition for dwindling resources during the drought period. As communities struggled to survive, tensions may have escalated, prompting movement away from ancestral lands. Another possibility is that the Anasazi experienced environmental changes beyond just drought. Natural disasters, such as floods, landslides, or wildfires, could have further compromised their ability to maintain stable living conditions. These events may have compounded existing difficulties, making it impossible for some settlements to continue functioning. Changes in animal populations, shifts in vegetation, and degradation of the land from overuse may also have played a role in their gradual disappearance. Despite the uncertainty surrounding their fate, there is growing understanding that the Anasazi did not vanish entirely. Rather than a complete disappearance, many scholars believe the Anasazi gradually migrated and integrated with other Puebloan peoples. Their descendants likely became part of other indigenous groups, such as the Hopi and Zuni, who still inhabit the Southwest today and carry forward many traditions believed to have originated with the Anasazi. In the end, the decline of the Anasazi civilization appears to be the result of a combination of interconnected factors. While many questions remain, ongoing research and respect for oral traditions may one day provide greater clarity. The story of the Anasazi remains a powerful reminder of how deeply human life is intertwined with the environment and the complex challenges ancient communities faced in adapting to their changing world. Mars Curiosity rover records a mysterious cigar-shaped UFO leaving the planet. In 2014, a remarkable discovery was made while examining photographs taken by NASA's Curiosity rover on Mars. UFO researchers spotted a cigar-shaped object hovering above the Martian surface, an anomaly that has since sparked widespread speculation and intrigue. The images, captured by Curiosity's right-hand navigation camera on May 4th, show what appears to be a long, cylindrical white object suspended in the Martian sky for approximately 16 minutes. This unusual sighting has led many to question whether extraterrestrial activity is being observed around Mars, and whether NASA is withholding crucial information about the presence of unknown objects orbiting the red planet. Curiosity has been actively exploring the Gale crater on Mars since 2012, capturing thousands of raw images as part of its mission to study the planet's surface, atmosphere, and geological history. These images are sent back to Earth for analysis, providing scientists and independent researchers alike with an opportunity to examine every aspect of the Martian environment. It was during one of these routine examinations that UFO enthusiasts noticed something unusual: a sleek, elongated object hovering in the sky, unlike anything previously observed on Mars. The shape and appearance of the object immediately caught the attention of researchers. Unlike the usual debris, dust particles, or camera anomalies that can sometimes appear in space imagery, this object exhibited characteristics that suggested it was something far more structured and deliberate. The cylindrical shape has been widely reported in past UFO sightings, particularly those involving so-called cigar-shaped UFOs, which have been observed on Earth for decades. The fact that an object with similar features has now been captured hovering over Mars raises profound questions about the possibility of extraterrestrial activity in the Martian orbit. Perhaps the most compelling aspect of this sighting is that the object remained in the air for 16 minutes. If this were merely an artifact of the camera, an issue with light exposure, or an optical illusion, it would not have persisted for such a significant length of time. Additionally, given Mars's thin atmosphere and lack of strong winds capable of suspending objects in mid-air, the possibility that this was some form of natural debris seems highly unlikely. Researchers argue that the object's presence, position, and duration suggest deliberate movement or control, rather than an uncontrolled environmental phenomenon. This sighting is not the first time cigar-shaped UFOs have been linked to space exploration. If the object seen in Curiosity's 2014 images is indeed an advanced craft, it raises several critical questions. Why was it hovering over Mars? Was it observing the rover, or did it have a separate mission on the planet? Some researchers speculate that Mars, being one of the most Earth-like planets in our solar system, could be of interest to extraterrestrial visitors. If intelligent life exists elsewhere, it would make sense for them to monitor planets that hold potential for life or future colonization. The idea that we are not alone in exploring Mars is both exciting and unsettling. NASA has remained silent on the issue, providing no clear explanation for the anomaly. The space agency has a long history of dismissing UFO-related findings, often attributing them to camera glitches, reflections, or natural phenomena. However, given the object's clear shape, prolonged presence, and structured appearance, these conventional explanations fall short. The lack of an official statement has only fueled speculation that NASA is withholding evidence of extraterrestrial encounters. Some argue that the object could be space debris or a speck of dust on the camera lens, but these explanations fail to account for the sustained appearance of the object for over 16 minutes. If it were dust or a photographic artifact, it would likely appear in only one frame or change position erratically. Instead, the cigar-shaped UFO remained consistently in view, behaving in a way that suggests it was a physical object hovering in Martian airspace. Strange creature found on Mars. In 2015, an unusual photograph taken by NASA's Mars rover ignited widespread curiosity and speculation among enthusiasts and researchers alike. The image appeared to depict a crab-shaped object nestled within the rocky terrain of Mars, instantly sparking a debate about the possibility of life on the red planet. While many saw the image as just another example of Mars's peculiar geological formations, others viewed it as potential evidence of something far more significant. The object in question seemed to have distinct features, outstretched appendages, symmetrical shapes, and a central body that to some observers resembled the form of a crab. This apparent structure led some to suggest that it could be a living creature or even the remains of an ancient sculpture, possibly left behind by an intelligent civilization that once inhabited Mars. These theories, while speculative, caught the attention of countless followers of space exploration, and the image circulated widely across online forums, social media platforms, and websites dedicated to mysteries beyond Earth. Skeptics, however, were quick to offer a more grounded explanation. They pointed out that the so-called crab-like figure was likely the result of seeing shapes or patterns in random or ambiguous visuals. This tendency to see recognizable images, such as animals or faces, in clouds, rocks, or shadows, is well documented and often plays a role in interpreting unusual planetary features. NASA scientists and planetary geologists have consistently emphasized that many strange-looking formations on Mars are simply the result of wind erosion, volcanic activity, and sedimentation over millions of years. Despite the scientific explanations, the image continued to fuel theories about the possibility of extraterrestrial life or even ancient civilizations that might have once thrived on Mars. Some researchers and amateur observers speculated that if intelligent life had once existed on the planet, remnants like this supposed crab might be scattered across its barren surface. Others suggested that such artifacts, if genuine, could point to a more complex history of Mars than currently understood. The fascination with the crab-shaped object reflects a broader human desire to explore and understand the unknown. Mars, with its stark landscapes and history of water presence, has long captured the imagination of scientists and storytellers. Every new image from the Martian surface offers a chance to uncover secrets buried under layers of dust and rock. Even when these secrets turn out to be illusions or misinterpretations, the process of questioning, hypothesizing, and investigating remains at the heart of scientific curiosity. Although the mystery of the crab-shaped object remains unresolved, it continues to symbolize humanity's enduring quest to seek out life beyond Earth. Whether the formation was a natural rock or something more unusual, it encouraged a wave of public engagement with science and sparked discussions about our place in the universe. The mysterious disappearance of Alexander Kruk. On July 17, 2020, Alexander Kruk, a 33-year-old individual, went missing in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The circumstances surrounding his disappearance revolve around his connection with a woman he met online and his intentions to meet her in Mexico. Since then, there has been no trace of him. Alexander Michael Kruk, born on January 15, 1987, hails from Illinois, but predominantly grew up in the vibrant city of Milwaukee, Wisconsin during his formative years. Throughout his journey, he has assumed the esteemed role of a proud father. Demonstrating remarkable talent, Kruk showcased his excellence as an athlete, particularly in the game of baseball. Kruk's life took a turn for the worse during his high school years when he started associating himself with the wrong group of people. Concerned about his well-being, his family made efforts to get him the help he needed by sending him to a rehabilitation center. Following his graduation, Kruk pursued higher education at the University of Wisconsin and Milwaukee Area Technical College, focusing on the field of CNC programming. Additionally, he gained practical experience as a welder subsequent to completing his college education. During the period when he went missing, Kruk was residing with some acquaintances in a residential area located on West Finn Place in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It is worth mentioning that he was quite active on various social media platforms, frequently sharing updates and maintaining regular communication with his family members. This suggests that he had a strong online presence and was actively engaged in staying connected with his loved ones. On the 17th of July, 2020, there was a sighting of Alexander Kruk near West Finn Place in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. At that time, he was reportedly seen in that specific area. Kruk's final interaction with his family occurred through a telephone conversation on August 6, 2020. This communication marked their most recent connection before the present moment. Following his unavailability, his family proceeded to file a report of a missing person with the Milwaukee Police Department, concerned about his whereabouts and unable to establish any communication with him. Alexander Kruk was beset by health challenges, and his family holds the belief that his psychological well-being was deteriorating during the period when he went missing. Kruk's acquaintances have shared that he allegedly formed a connection with an individual through an online platform prior to his vanishing. It was revealed that they engaged in conversations about potentially embarking on a journey to Texas, followed by a subsequent visit to Mexico in order to meet this woman in person. Despite the urging of his friends to reconsider, there is no concrete evidence validating that Kruk ever arrived at either of these destinations, raising doubts about the fruition of his travel plans. According to Kruk's acquaintances, he mentioned his intention to travel to California via a Greyhound bus, hinting at the prospect of a lucrative opportunity. However, there is a lack of evidence to substantiate the claim that he actually departed from Wisconsin. Kruk, prior to his mysterious disappearance, was devoid of both financial resources and the means for international travel, such as a passport or any form of transportation. It is worth noting that he did not possess an automobile and predominantly relied on alternative methods of mobility, such as walking, utilizing public transportation, or seeking assistance from fellow individuals for commutation purposes. According to a family member of Kruk, in July 2020, there was a sighting of him in the company of a Hispanic woman, although her identity remains unknown. It was reported that during that time, she was driving either a maroon Nissan Murano or a white Nissan sedan. This information showcases the potential connection between Kruk and the Hispanic woman, raising questions about their relationship and the circumstances surrounding their encounter. According to numerous acquaintances, there are several individuals who assert that they have encountered the mysterious woman as well. They affirm that she would occasionally provide him with meals and offer transportation services. After a thorough investigation, law enforcement officials have determined that there is no indication of any criminal activity involved in the mysterious vanishing of Alexander Kruk. The exact circumstances surrounding Alexander's disappearance continue to elude the authorities, leaving his case classified as a missing person. The disappearance of Julia Ann Bean. Julia Ann Bean, a 36-year-old woman, went missing on May 31, 2017, in Sumter, South Carolina. Her disappearance occurred shortly after she was spotted in the company of a mysterious unidentified male. The circumstances surrounding her disappearance raise numerous questions. Julia Ann Bean, a woman born on May 2, 1981, has the important role of being a mother to 3 children. Bean's friends and relatives have revealed that during the period when she went missing, she was grappling with personal challenges. Furthermore, her daughter recollected instances where various men provided her with money. In Sumter, South Carolina, on the fateful day of May 31, 2017, Julia Ann Bean, a woman in her prime, was last sighted by her concerned daughter in the vicinity of Red Bay Road. This particular day held promises of mother-daughter bonding, as they had eagerly planned to indulge in a pampering session at the local nail salon. However, as fate would have it, Bean arrived at the establishment accompanied by an unfamiliar gentleman who was in charge of maneuvering a somber-looking dark truck. The gentleman informed his daughter about his ownership of multiple lake houses and large boats, extending an invitation for her to host a boat party whenever she desired. Furthermore, he expressed his willingness to accompany her to a concert and even expressed his desire to marry Bean. Bean's daughter, whose high school graduation was just a day away, generously handed over a pair of tickets to a man, enabling him to be a part of the momentous ceremony alongside Bean. This act of kindness exemplifies the strong bond between Bean's daughter and the man. Bean failed to make an appearance at her daughter's momentous graduation ceremony and has remained elusive ever since, with no communication being established. On the 18th of November, in the year 2017, the family of this individual took the necessary step of submitting a report to the Sumter Police Department, expressing their concern over her sudden disappearance. Bean inadvertently forgot to bring along her wallet, cell phone, and keys when she left her house. In terms of financial resources, she possessed a substantial amount of $5,000 deposited in her bank account, in addition to an undisclosed amount of cash kept inside her purse. At the time when Bean went missing, she did not possess a mobile phone. There are suspicions of foul play surrounding the mysterious disappearance of Julia Ann Bean. The exact details of her disappearance are still unclear, and as a result, her case is currently labeled as a missing persons case. This unsettling situation remains unresolved, leaving unanswered questions and lingering concerns. The disappearance of Alexis Ware. Alexis Ware, a 29-year-old woman, went missing in Anderson, South Carolina on January 30th, 2022. Her disappearance occurred following a meeting with her former partner at a gas station. The circumstances surrounding her vanishing remain a matter of concern, leaving her friends and family worried. Alexis Ware, who resided in Greenville, South Carolina, went missing along with her 2 children. Her household consisted of a 9-year-old daughter and a 2-year-old son. This disappearance case has garnered significant attention due to the circumstances surrounding her absence. Alexis, a skilled hairstylist, operated her own home studio where she catered to a loyal clientele. With a strong presence on social media, she aspired to venture into the realm of Instagram modeling, utilizing her creativity and expertise to showcase various hairstyles and fashion trends. Beyond her immediate goals, Alexis harbored long-term ambitions of establishing an exclusive boutique in the vibrant city of Atlanta, envisioning it as a stepping stone towards a better future for her family. Over the course of a leisurely weekend from January 29th to January 31st, 2022, Alexis Ware decided to take a break from her usual routine in Greenville, South Carolina. Eager to spend quality time with her loved ones, she embarked on a journey to her mother's residence. She expressed her feelings of anxiety and unease to her mother, recounting her experiences of being followed and receiving unwelcome calls from an unidentified individual. These unnerving encounters had left her with a deep sense of fear, causing her to doubt whether she would even reach the milestone of her impending 30th birthday. In the early afternoon of January 30th, 2022, Sarah Ware bid farewell to her mother and embarked on her journey back to her hometown of Greenville. 3 hours later, at precisely 3 p.m, she engaged in a heartfelt conversation with her mother through the convenience of a video chat, during which she casually mentioned her intention to catch up on some much-needed rest. In the evening, at approximately 7, Ware made her way to the 7-Eleven store located on Highway 29 North in Anderson, South Carolina. Her intention was to meet T.J. Patterson, the father of her youngest child. Upon arrival, she entrusted the care of their children to him, after which they departed the premises in their respective vehicles. Ware was originally intended to accompany Patterson to his mother's residence before returning to her own mother's abode. However, as per reports, at some juncture, she purportedly maneuvered her vehicle ahead of his at a red traffic signal and swiftly accelerated into the darkness of the night. In the evening, precisely at 7:30, Patterson took the initiative to reach out to Ware's mother and provided a detailed account of the events leading to their separation. Patterson expressed her concern by attempting to call her daughter's cell phone. However, her attempts were unsuccessful as the call directly diverted to her voicemail. Alexis Ware, a young woman with a promising future, mysteriously disappeared without a trace and did not make it back to her home. On the first day of February in the year 2022, the family of the individual in question took the step of submitting a report to the Anderson County Sheriff's Office, as they were unable to establish contact with her. In the evening of January 30th, 2022, there was a significant event related to Ware's cell phone. At precisely 8:15 in the evening, her cell phone sent a signal that indicated its location as Anderson, South Carolina. This important piece of information provided a starting point for further investigation. Furthermore, there were additional sightings of her car captured by surveillance cameras at an apartment complex in Anderson on multiple occasions throughout that night. In the late hours of that very evening, the surveillance cameras along the highway in Augusta, Georgia, approximately 1 hour's drive away, captured the presence of Ware's car. However, it remains uncertain as to whether Alexis Ware herself was behind the wheel of the vehicle during that particular moment in time. This raises questions about the identity of the individual who may have been operating the vehicle. On the 1st of February, 2022, the vehicle belonging to Ware, which was a red Honda Accord manufactured in the year 2019 and bearing a South Carolina license plate, was discovered abandoned and heavily coated in mud. This peculiar finding took place in a hunting field located in McCormick, South Carolina, approximately 30 miles to the south of Anderson. Ware lacked any companions or relatives in the vicinity of McCormick. Interestingly, her cell phone, purse, and identification documents were discovered within the vehicle itself, indicating their undeniable presence. Furthermore, an assortment of garments was recovered from the trunk, suggesting possible intention for a change of attire. On a peculiar note, her hair bonnet was stumbled upon lying on the ground adjacent to the automobile. This collection of intriguing details raises profound questions and warrants further investigation into the circumstances surrounding Ware's situation in the McCormick area. In their investigative efforts, the police successfully obtained fingerprints from the vehicle in question. However, they have refrained from disclosing any information regarding the potential match between these prints and the individual suspected to be Ware or any other person involved in the case. TJ Patterson, in his statement to the authorities, recounted that on January 30th, he departed for home after meeting with Alexis at the gas station. The following day, he proceeded to work as usual. As part of the investigation, surveillance footage from the gas station's parking lot was carefully examined, revealing no unusual activities or circumstances. This thorough analysis aimed to gain a comprehensive understanding of the events surrounding TJ Patterson's activities during this time period and provide additional insights into the case. Currently, there have been no individuals identified as persons of interest in the case of Alexis's disappearance. However, the police have made it clear that they are actively investigating all potential leads and considering every possibility. In the investigation into Alexis Ware's disappearance, the police have thoroughly examined the case and have not come across any evidence, means, or motives indicating foul play. The details surrounding the disappearance of Alexis Ware are shrouded in mystery, leaving investigators with little information to work with. At present, her whereabouts remain unknown, and the case remains unsolved. The Paris Catacombs, a vast subterranean labyrinth beneath the streets of Paris, have long captured the imagination of adventurers, historians, and thrill-seekers alike. Originally built as quarries to mine limestone during the Roman era, the catacombs were later repurposed as a mass burial site in the 18th century, housing the remains of more than 6 million Parisians. In the 1990s, chilling found footage emerged, capturing the harrowing journey of a man who got lost within the catacombs and was never seen again. The Paris catacombs encompass more than 200 miles of underground tunnels, chambers, and galleries, making it one of the largest ossuaries in the world. Over the centuries, the catacombs have served various purposes, from a clandestine meeting place for revolutionaries during the French Revolution to a hideout for members of the French resistance during World War II. Despite the fascinating history of the catacombs, their vast and labyrinth nature presents a significant danger to those who venture off the designated paths. The maze of tunnels can be disorienting, and inexperienced explorers run the risk of becoming lost or trapped within the catacombs. In the early 1990s, a group of Parisian catacomb explorers, known as cataphiles, stumbled upon a discarded video camera deep within the tunnels. The camera contained a chilling piece of found footage, which captured the journey of an unidentified man as he ventured deeper into the catacombs, eventually becoming disoriented and lost. The footage shows the man's mounting panic and desperation as he navigates the seemingly endless maze of tunnels, before ultimately abandoning his camera and disappearing into the darkness. The found footage was later aired in a 2000 documentary titled The Forbidden Paris Catacombs, sparking widespread interest and speculation about the identity and fate of the lost explorer. The authenticity of the found footage has been a subject of debate among skeptics and enthusiasts alike. While some believe the footage to be a genuine documentation of the man's harrowing experience, others have argued that it could be an elaborate hoax staged to create a sensational story. Nevertheless, the footage has prompted numerous investigations and search efforts to uncover the identity of the lost explorer and determine his ultimate fate. Despite these efforts, the man's identity remains unknown, and no trace of him has been found within the catacombs. Several theories have been proposed to explain the man's disappearance, ranging from the possibility that he succumbed to hypothermia or dehydration in the tunnels, to the more sinister notion that he was intentionally led astray by malicious individuals or supernatural forces. Nonetheless, the existence of the footage can be supported by an argument, given that no one has come forward to claim the ownership of it ever since it was initially broadcasted almost 2 decades ago. Even those involved in the documentary haven't made much noise around it, leading many to believe that it's unlikely that they're benefiting from it financially. Assuming the authenticity of the found footage, the main concern is to uncover the fate of the individual. Investigating this specific topic has posed difficulties in terms of reliable sources, given the scarcity of information available. Although various sources have linked paranormal activity to the video, researchers who live close to the area believe that a more plausible explanation can be derived. The catacombs consist of tunnels that extend for 150 to 200 miles, making it easy to become disoriented and lost. As evident from past rescues of stranded teenagers, it's not uncommon for people to lose their way amidst the catacombs. With temperatures averaging at 60 degrees Fahrenheit, it's possible that the man in the video lost his bearings and eventually succumbed to hypothermia. The enigma of the found footage of the lost Paris catacombs explorer continues to captivate and mystify those who delve into the dark history of this subterranean ossuary. The chilling footage serves as a stark reminder of the dangers inherent in venturing into the catacombs, as well as a testament to the enduring allure of the unknown. The fate of the lost explorer remains a mystery, shrouded in the shadows of the Parisian underworld and the murky depths of human imagination. The chilling atmosphere and macabre history of this subterranean world have given rise to countless legends, ghost stories, and tales of supernatural encounters. The Paris catacombs originated as limestone quarries during the Roman era, supplying materials for the city's construction. By the 18th century, Paris was grappling with the issue of overcrowded cemeteries, particularly the Central Cemetery of the Innocents, which was becoming a public health hazard. On April 30th, SpaceX's colossal Falcon Heavy rocket effectively deployed 3 satellites into high Earth orbit, marking a significant milestone, as it was the first time that none of the rocket's boosters were retrieved. On the evening of Sunday, April 30th, the rocket launched, and all stages performed as expected, delivering the trio of payloads to geostationary Earth orbit. The exhaust emitted from the rocket created an impressive spectacle, as observed from a perspective on the ground. Elon Musk, the CEO of SpaceX, has expressed that he would consider it a success if the new Falcon Heavy rocket manages to launch without any issues. The rocket engines were successfully tested at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida, paving the way for its first ever flight in the upcoming weeks. However, during this mission, users watching the live stream said that they saw strange objects in the background. This caused the users to take videos of the objects and post them to social media. Oddly enough, those who investigate the unknown have said that this isn't the first time that mysterious objects have been captured during SpaceX missions, and it's caused some to suggest that these videos could be proof of unidentified objects. In the vast expanse of the night sky, the Falcon Heavy rocket soared into space, carrying a payload of satellites destined for orbit. The atmosphere at the launch site was electrifying, with spectators and engineers watching the powerful engines ignite, propelling the spacecraft towards the stars. Among the eager onlookers were those interested in unidentified objects. One user named Tom said they had always been captivated by the mysteries of the universe, and he couldn't resist the opportunity to witness a SpaceX mission firsthand. Armed with his trusty telescope and camera, he set up his equipment in a prime viewing spot. As the rocket climbed higher and higher into the sky, leaving a trail of exhaust behind, Tom scanned the surrounding area with his telescope. His eyes widened as he noticed something peculiar, a light object hovering in the vicinity of the spacecraft. It appeared to be glowing and staying close to the rocket. He quickly viewed the live feed in order to confirm his sighting, and noted that the mysterious object seemed to effortlessly match the speed and trajectory of the Falcon Heavy, stating that it maintained a steady distance. He was one of the people who uploaded the footage to social media, saying that you can see two objects flying past the rocket. He said that its smooth and seamless movements indicated an advanced level of technology. In recent years, there have been numerous reports of unidentified objects in close proximity to SpaceX missions. These sightings have sparked curiosity and intrigue among both space enthusiasts and enthusiasts alike. While the exact nature and origin of these UFOs remain a subject of debate, several factors can be considered to understand why they are often observed near SpaceX missions. Firstly, the launch of a SpaceX mission attracts significant attention from the public and media. These missions involve advanced technology, groundbreaking achievements, and the exploration of outer space. Such high-profile events naturally draw the interest of individuals who are interested in unidentified objects. As a result, people are more likely to be actively observing the skies during these missions, increasing the chances of spotting unusual aerial phenomena. Secondly, the presence of mysterious aircrafts near SpaceX missions may be attributed to the characteristics of the rockets and spacecraft themselves. SpaceX has been at the forefront of developing innovative technologies and pushing the boundaries of space exploration. Moreover, it is important to acknowledge the possibility that some of these sightings may be misinterpretations or misidentifications of conventional objects or atmospheric phenomena. However, it is worth noting that some sightings near SpaceX missions defy conventional explanations. Witnesses have reported witnessing objects that exhibit extraordinary flight characteristics, such as sudden changes in direction, rapid acceleration, or hovering in place. These sightings challenge our understanding of known aerodynamic principles and raise intriguing questions about the nature of these objects. One possible explanation for the presence of mysterious aircrafts near SpaceX missions is the hypothesis that advanced civilizations may be monitoring our technological advancements and space exploration efforts. It is conceivable that highly advanced civilizations from other star systems are curious about our progress and are observing our activities. SpaceX missions, with their cutting-edge technology and ambitious goals, could be of particular interest to these civilizations. Another perspective suggests that the sightings near SpaceX missions could be related to the phenomenon known as interstellar transit. According to this theory, advanced extraterrestrial civilizations may be utilizing gravitational assists from spacecraft or harnessing energy from rockets to facilitate their own interstellar travel. In this scenario, the sightings could be instances of these civilizations taking advantage of the gravitational or energy fields created by SpaceX missions. While the true nature of these sightings near SpaceX missions remains a mystery, they underscore the need for continued scientific exploration and open-mindedness. It is essential to investigate and analyze these reports using rigorous scientific methods, taking into account both conventional and unconventional explanations. Dr. Milton Wainwright seeks to persuade the public that he has discovered advanced life hovering approximately 25 miles above Earth's surface. However, despite the eagerness of tabloids to embrace his narrative, the scientific community remains hesitant to endorse his findings. If one were to come across life existing at an altitude of 25 miles above the surface, it would undoubtedly be an extraordinary occurrence. Traditional aircraft do not reach such heights. And although it is arguable whether powerful volcanic eruptions could disperse living cells to such altitudes, there is no evidence to suggest that a volcanic eruption was responsible for this discovery. Therefore, if any form of life were indeed able to float at such heights, it would undoubtedly merit thorough investigation. Oddly enough, further investigations haven't occurred, and the scientific world doesn't want to pursue this discovery any further. So, why haven't scientists shown more interest in this phenomenon? Dr. Wainwright, a microbiologist employed in the Department of Molecular Biology and Biotechnology at the University of Sheffield, has been attempting to inform the scientific community about his belief that Earth is being actively targeted by advanced beings. According to his theory, these advanced life forms are implanting minuscule living probes into our atmosphere using microscopic metal spheres, which are intelligently designed to seed life on our planet. Predictably, this assertion was met with skepticism among researchers, prompting him to adopt an alternative strategy. The teacher sent his findings to his students via email, and a portion of them shared it on various social media platforms. So, what is the reason behind the lack of belief from the majority? The evidence is interesting, and one photograph shows a mysterious orb that appears to contain an unidentified biological ooze. Additionally, his studies have been published in the Journal of Cosmology, a publication that has faced criticism for its questionable peer review process and outdated design from the 1990s. Also, scientists and researchers that have presented their research into advanced life usually get looked down upon by the scientific world, with some scientists going as far as refusing to talk about the subject. Dr. Wainwright clarified that the critics argue that the samples we collected could have originated from Earth. They believe that there must be a process that can carry these particles from Earth to the stratosphere. The DNA-containing masses and other peculiar organisms we have identified are not related to pollen, grass, or fungal spores found on our sampler. If our organisms had indeed come from Earth, they would have been contaminated with typical Earth organisms, but this is not the case. Based on his statements, the organisms exhibit DNA presence and possess masses exceeding the size threshold for particles that can be transported from Earth to this altitude. Additionally, he assures that he thoroughly examined for potential contamination using high-altitude balloons. Dr. Wainwright informed scientists that they conducted an experiment involving balloons and a sampler, and they discovered that there was no pollen or grass present in the samples. This suggests that the samples were completely pure and unaffected by any outside contamination. Based on these findings, Dr. Wainwright believes that the organisms found in the samples are likely originating from space. He further explains that whenever we venture outside, we are constantly bombarded with organisms that originate from space. Wainwright has previously reported similar findings on multiple occasions. In 2013, he observed a similar phenomenon suspended 16 miles above the Earth's surface. As mentioned, he shared an image depicting a small metallic sphere emitting a viscous substance collected from the Earth's stratosphere by a balloon. However, his research did not undergo proper approval or recognition, and nobody has attempted to replicate his findings. It leaves us wondering whether Wainwright's discoveries are simply a peculiar outcome of scientific exploration, or if they hold significant meaning. The truth remains uncertain. Panspermia, an ancient concept rejuvenated by modern astrobiological research, hypothesizes that life exists throughout the universe, distributed by cosmic dust, meteoroids, asteroids, comets, planetoids, and spacecraft, in the form of microbial life forms or biochemical precursors of life. In its simplest form, panspermia suggests that life, or the necessary elements to initiate life, could survive the inhospitable vacuum of space, encased in cosmic bodies, and be dispersed throughout the cosmos. This notion offers a counter-perspective to the conventional idea that life began on Earth, asserting that our planet might instead have been seeded by advanced life. This transference of life could occur through various mechanisms. Lithopanspermia involves rocks or other matter being ejected from a planet due to a significant event like an asteroid impact. This ejected matter, potentially containing microbial life or its precursors, could travel through space and eventually land on another planet. If the new planet's conditions were hospitable, the contained life forms could propagate, effectively seeding life. Alternatively, Radiopanspermia proposes that tiny life forms or organic molecules could be pushed across space by the radiation pressure from stars. The theory of panspermia, once consigned to the realm of science fiction, has gradually found support from various scientific observations and experiments. First, some microorganisms, such as tardigrades and specific types of bacteria, have exhibited impressive resilience to the harsh conditions of space, including extreme temperature fluctuations, vacuum conditions, and cosmic radiation. This extreme resilience underpins the viability of panspermia. Secondly, organic molecules, the building blocks of life, have been discovered in meteorites, comets, and interstellar dust clouds, suggesting that these essential ingredients for life are not exclusive to Earth, but are widespread in the cosmos. Perhaps the most compelling support for panspermia comes from the rapid emergence of life on Earth. Geological records indicate that life sprang up on Earth relatively soon after the planet became habitable. This abrupt appearance of life has led some scientists to speculate that life might have originated elsewhere and been transported to Earth. If panspermia is accurate, it raises fascinating possibilities about the prevalence and diversity of life in the universe. The seeding of life on Earth could imply that life originated from a location in the cosmos, with conditions more favorable to life's genesis, potentially Mars, or even a different star system. This idea is testable. Discovering evidence of past or present life on Mars or other celestial bodies, and analyzing their biochemistry, could reveal a shared ancestry with terrestrial life. However, panspermia does not answer the fundamental question, how and where did life first originate? It merely suggests that life's birthplace could be somewhere other than Earth. Understanding life's origin, therefore, remains one of the biggest unsolved puzzles. Panspermia also significantly broadens the potential habitats for advanced life, extending them beyond planets and moons to include interstellar dust clouds, meteorites, and other celestial bodies. Consequently, it has considerable implications for astrobiology and the search for advanced life. While we have yet to confirm panspermia, the theory forces us to rethink the conventional Earth-centric perspective on life's origin and distribution. It nudges us to regard life as a cosmic, rather than a terrestrial phenomenon shaped by galactic dynamics and planetary evolution. The question of whether life exists beyond Earth has fascinated humans for centuries. As our understanding of the cosmos expands, we have come to realize that the conditions for life might not be as unique as once believed. The first point to consider is our definition of life. Terrestrially, life is characterized by a set of features, including the ability to grow, reproduce, respond to environmental changes, and undergo evolution. However, life elsewhere in the universe might not follow these exact principles. Therefore, astrobiology often seeks to identify biosignatures, signs of past or present life, such as certain chemical imbalances or structures that would indicate the presence of living organisms. Next, we must consider the conditions needed for life as we understand it. Life on Earth requires a stable source of energy, like our sun, and a suitable environment, such as the presence of water, and an atmosphere with the right chemical components. With this understanding, astrobiologists have been able to identify numerous habitable zones around other stars where conditions might be right for life as we know it. The Eltanin antenna, an unusual underwater structure discovered in 1964, has long been the subject of speculation and debate among researchers, theorists, and those with a keen interest in the unknown. Named after the USNS Eltanin, the Antarctic oceanographic research ship that first photographed the structure, the Eltanin antenna is a mysterious object located deep beneath the Antarctic Ocean. The Eltanin antenna was first photographed on August 29, 1964, by a team of researchers aboard the USNS Eltanin, an American research vessel tasked with conducting oceanographic studies in the Antarctic region. The photograph, taken at a depth of approximately 13,500 feet or 4,115 meters in the Antarctic Ocean, depicted an unusual, seemingly artificial structure that resembled an antenna or a piece of advanced technology. The discovery immediately sparked curiosity and controversy, with many wondering about the origins and purpose of the enigmatic object. The Eltanin antenna is characterized by its complex, symmetrical structure, which appears to consist of a central rod surrounded by a series of curved, evenly spaced spokes. Its appearance has been likened to that of a radio antenna, a piece of advanced machinery, or even an advanced artifact. Despite its seemingly artificial appearance, the Eltanin antenna has been found to be made of natural materials, primarily a type of sponge known as Cladorhiza concrescens. Since its discovery, the Eltanin antenna has been the subject of numerous theories. Many researchers believe that the Eltanin antenna is simply a unique and unusual natural formation. The structure's composition, primarily made up of the Cladorhiza concrescens sponge, supports this theory. The symmetrical appearance of the structure, while intriguing, can be explained by the growth patterns of this particular sponge species. Theorists and proponents of alternative history have suggested that the Eltanin antenna is an artificial structure, possibly created by an advanced ancient civilization or even advanced beings. They argue that the object's intricate and symmetrical appearance is indicative of intelligent design rather than a natural process. However, this theory has been largely debunked by scientific research that has identified the structure as a type of sponge. Another theory posits that the Eltanin antenna is a hoax or the result of misinterpretation. This theory suggests that the original photograph taken by the USNS Eltanin may have been tampered with or misinterpreted by researchers and the media, leading to the widespread belief in the existence of an unexplained structure. The Eltanin antenna remains an enigmatic and intriguing discovery that has captivated the imagination of researchers and the public alike for over half a century. Although scientific research has identified the structure as a type of sponge, its striking appearance and the enduring controversy surrounding its origins continue to fuel speculation and debate. The Eltanin antenna serves as a testament to the enduring human fascination with the unknown and the unexplained, and as a reminder of the countless mysteries that still lie hidden beneath the depths of our oceans. This strange object has been spotted above China. One user by the name of Lee said that they've always been fascinated by the night sky, and said they've spent countless hours gazing up at the stars and planets, marveling at the mysteries of the universe. Although they didn't see this strange object, they reported that it was posted on a social media group they follow. The witness who saw the phenomena said that at first it was just a small, faint light in the distance, moving slowly across the sky. But as they watched, the light grew brighter and larger, until it was clear that it was not a star or planet, but something much stranger. The object was unlike anything they had ever seen before. It was shaped like a giant staircase, with a series of smaller orbs and lights rotating around its center. As it drew closer, the eyewitness could see that the smaller orbs were changing colors and emitting a strange, pulsating energy. They watched in amazement as the object moved closer and closer until it was hovering directly above their house, casting an eerie, otherworldly glow over the surrounding area. They could feel something being emitted from the object and said they felt a sense of both awe and fear wash over them. For what felt like hours, they watched as the object hovered in the sky, seemingly studying the earth below. The eyewitness reported that they could see strange symbols and patterns etched into the surface of the object, and said that it was unlike anything they had seen before. As suddenly as it had appeared, the object began to move away, disappearing into the distance. For weeks afterward, the eyewitness could not shake the image of the strange object from his mind. Luckily enough, they managed to take a photograph of the event, which they then shared to social media in order to get some answers for what it was that they saw. Various ideas have been presented to explain what the object was, with some saying that it was a type of atmospheric anomaly, while those interested in the unknown put forward the idea that it could have been a piece of technology that was cloaked, and that due to the sun's rays, it partially revealed the object. Oddly enough, one user by the name of Samantha said that she had seen a similar-looking object. She reported that she often dreamed of witnessing something strange and mysterious for herself. One evening, as she was driving home from work, Samantha saw something in the sky that she could not explain. At first, she thought it was a plane or a helicopter, but as she drew closer, she realized that it was something far stranger. The object was hovering in the sky, its shape resembling that of a ladder, with a series of rungs that seemed to be holding it in place. The object glowed with an eerie, pulsating light, and Samantha could feel the heat and energy emanating from it. As she watched, the object began to move, hovering over the road in front of her car. Samantha could see strange symbols and patterns etched into the surface of the object, and she knew that whatever it was not of this world. For what felt like hours, Samantha watched as the ladder-like object moved slowly across the sky, seemingly studying the earth below. She could feel her heart pounding in her chest, and she wondered if she was the only one who had witnessed the strange and otherworldly sight. As suddenly as it had appeared, the object began to move away, accelerating at an incredible speed and disappearing into the distance. Samantha sat in her car, stunned and overwhelmed by what she had just witnessed. For weeks afterward, Samantha could not shake the image of the strange, ladder-like object from her mind. She told her friends and family about what she had seen, but most dismissed her story as the product of an overactive imagination. But Samantha knew what she had seen, and she was determined to uncover the truth. She spent hours researching online, poring over books and articles about sightings and mysterious encounters, trying to find others who had witnessed the strange ladder-like object in the sky. Eventually, Samantha's search led her to a group of like-minded individuals, a small community of amateur astronomers and enthusiasts who had seen similar objects in the sky above their homes and communities. Together, they shared information and theories about the strange ladder-like object, trying to piece together the puzzle of its origins and purpose. They scoured the internet, looking for any clues or evidence that might help them understand the mysterious object. For Samantha, the experience had been both exhilarating and terrifying. She had seen something that defied explanation, and it had opened her mind to a whole new world of possibilities. When people witness strange lights or objects in the sky that they cannot explain, their first instinct may be to assume that they have seen an unidentified object. However, many of these sightings can be attributed to natural phenomena, such as weather patterns or astronomical events. One common explanation for unidentified objects is misidentified aircraft or satellites. A low-flying airplane or a satellite reflecting sunlight can appear as a bright light moving quickly across the sky, leading people to believe that they have seen something otherworldly. Similarly, weather phenomena such as lightning, ball lightning, or sprites can create strange and unexpected visual effects in the sky. These atmospheric events can cause glowing orbs, strange shapes, or unusual patterns in the sky that can be easily misinterpreted as unidentified objects. Astronomical events, such as meteor showers or other celestial bodies entering the Earth's atmosphere, can also cause unusual sightings. For example, the appearance of a meteor or comet can create a bright and unusual light display in the sky, leading some to mistake it for an unidentified object. Even natural phenomena on the ground, such as swamp gas or bioluminescent creatures, can create strange and unexpected lights and shapes in the sky that may be misinterpreted as strange objects. In some cases, psychological factors, such as suggestibility or hallucinations, may play a role in mysterious sightings. People who are already predisposed to believing in advanced life or who have experienced a traumatic event may be more likely to interpret strange phenomena as evidence of unidentified objects. It is also worth noting that in many cases, sightings are simply hoaxes or misunderstandings. People may fabricate sightings for attention or profit, while others may mistake common objects such as balloons or drones for unidentified objects. While it is true that some sightings may be genuine sightings of unexplained phenomena, the majority of sightings can be explained by natural phenomena or human error. It is important to approach reports of unidentified objects with a critical eye and to consider all possible explanations before jumping to conclusions. As of right now, while the idea of unidentified objects may be fascinating, it is important to recognize that natural phenomena can account for the majority of reported sightings. Someone found this huge object above the eastern Pacific. It was captured using the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Tropical Pacific Weather Channel. The man who found it put the recording on a loop, and during this, a huge triangular object appears. Oddly enough, the man stated that the object is around half the size of Mexico. The triangular object was caught hovering above the ocean, and was detected by satellite. The man who found it said that he's never seen anything like it, noting that he often checks this live camera feed, and nothing of this size has ever showed up before. The man went on to explain that the object was visible for over 7 hours, saying that it wasn't just a random cloud formation or glitch, and said that it stayed in the same location. These black triangle objects have been witnessed for several decades now, with researchers into the unknown saying that sightings can be traced back hundreds of years. These enigmatic triangular crafts have been spotted all over the world, leading to fervent speculation and debate among researchers and enthusiasts. Black triangle sightings began to gain prominence in the late 1980s and early 1990s. Witnesses described these crafts as large, dark, silent, and triangular in shape, often with bright lights at each corner. These sightings caught the attention of researchers, who were intrigued by the consistent descriptions from witnesses around the globe. Black triangles have been reported in various countries, including the United States, United Kingdom, Mexico, and Japan. Witnesses describe seeing these crafts hovering silently in the sky or moving at high speeds. The origins of these black triangles remain a subject of speculation and debate. Several hypotheses have been proposed to explain these sightings. Skeptics argue that black triangles are classified military aircraft undergoing testing or surveillance operations. The secretive nature of military programs could explain the lack of public acknowledgement. Interestingly, though, various eyewitnesses have reported seeing these black triangles hovering above the ocean. While many unidentified objects are witnessed in the skies above land, there is a growing body of evidence and speculation that suggests these objects may also have a significant interest in the oceans. One of the primary reasons these objects might be interested in the oceans is the abundance of water. Earth is the only planet known to have vast oceans of liquid water, a precious resource that could be of immense value to advanced civilizations. Water is essential for sustaining life as we know it, and it is possible that unidentified objects are searching for or monitoring Earth's oceans in their quest for habitable environments. The oceans represent some of the most unexplored and diverse ecosystems on Earth. These deep and largely unknown environments harbor an incredible variety of life forms, many of which are yet to be discovered by humans. It is conceivable that these objects, equipped with advanced sensing technologies, are interested in studying these unique ecosystems and their inhabitants to better understand the diversity of life in the universe. One intriguing theory put forth by some researchers is the possibility of submerged bases in Earth's oceans. If unidentified objects are of advanced origin, it is conceivable that they might have established bases underwater to remain hidden and undetected from human observation. These underwater bases could serve as research outposts or staging areas for their activities on Earth. Numerous sightings have been reported in close proximity to marine life, particularly with regard to encounters with whales and dolphins. Some witnesses have described these objects emerging from or submerging into the ocean, suggesting a connection between unidentified objects and marine life. This has led some researchers to speculate about potential communication or interaction between these objects and Earth's intelligent marine species. Another speculative theory is that unidentified objects may be interested in extracting resources from the oceans. Earth's oceans contain vast amounts of minerals and elements, some of which may be scarce or highly valuable in other parts of the universe. Advanced civilizations may view our oceans as a potential source of valuable resources, leading them to explore or exploit these underwater reserves. The oceans are also home to various forms of energy, including geothermal vents, which release hot, mineral-rich water from beneath the Earth's surface. Such energy sources could be of interest to advanced civilizations seeking sustainable and renewable energy solutions. These aircrafts might be monitoring or harnessing these energy reserves to power their craft or other technologies. The vastness and depth of the oceans offer a convenient environment for concealment and surveillance. These aircrafts could use the ocean as a hiding place or base of operations, especially given that human exploration and surveillance technologies are less developed underwater than in space or on land. The ocean's depths also provide an effective shield against human detection. As of right now, the Earth's oceans are a fascinating and mysterious aspect of the broader phenomenon. While there is no definitive evidence to confirm the reasons behind this apparent attraction, numerous scientific theories and speculative ideas offer plausible explanations. Whether these objects are drawn to Earth's oceans for resources, water, or the study of marine life, their presence and activities remain one of the greatest enigmas of our time. This isn't the first time that something like this has been detected, and former workers have come forward and detailed that these objects are occasionally witnessed. Back in 2008, a team of National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration scientists embarked on a routine research expedition aboard their state-of-the-art research vessel. Their mission was to study marine life and oceanic currents in the vast expanse of the Atlantic Ocean. However, one of the workers said that this voyage would lead them to an encounter that would defy their understanding of the world. As the vessel sailed through the tranquil waters, the scientists immersed themselves in their work, meticulously collecting data and observing marine creatures. Dr. Walker, the lead marine biologist, had always been fascinated by the mysteries of the deep sea. As night fell, the team continued their observations under the shimmering moonlight. Suddenly, an unusual blip appeared on the ship's radar, catching the attention of Dr. Walker and the crew. They were puzzled by the mysterious signal, as there were no other vessels reported in the vicinity. With a sense of anticipation, the crew followed the radar signal, leading them to an area where the ocean currents seemed to converge. As they approached, an eerie silence enveloped the ship, broken only by the gentle lapping of the waves against the hull. Then, out of the darkness, a breathtaking sight unfolded before them. A massive, triangle-shaped object hovered above the water, emitting a soft, ethereal glow. The mysterious craft seemed to defy the laws of physics, maintaining a steady position in the air without any visible means of propulsion. Amidst the astonishment, Dr. Walker quickly grabbed her camera and began capturing images of the otherworldly spectacle. The crew members, equally mesmerized, exchanged bewildered glances as they tried to make sense of the inexplicable sighting. Captain Reynolds radioed to other National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration vessels that were in the area, reporting their sighting with an air of incredulity. The situation was unprecedented, and the crew knew that their encounter would be met with skepticism back home. As the night wore on, the enigmatic triangle object remained suspended above the ocean, seemingly unbothered by the presence of the workers. Dr. Walker and her team observed the object's peculiar light patterns, noting how it occasionally emitted bright flashes before dimming again. Suddenly, the object started to move, gliding noiselessly across the sky. The crew watched in awe as it soared effortlessly above the water, leaving behind a faint trail of shimmering light. The object then made a quick getaway and was not seen for the rest of the mission. Oddly enough, the cameras were taken from the crew, and they were told not to speak of their encounter.